And then I just had to find my little path. And it wasn't always easy. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable with yourself and then just say, all right, well, where's the line between goofy humor Lisa Jones and where's the professional Lisa Jones?
Hello and welcome to The Secret of My Success, where we explore what it means to live a fulfilling life. I am your host, Erin Currin. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. In today's episode, I am speaking with Lisa Jones. Now, Lisa Jones is a renowned real estate agent in the South Florida area. She brings a wealth of experience and expertise to her clients. She took on real estate in 2020 after retiring from her first career in dental hygiene. Of course, she had been doing some real estate investing along the way before she did it full time. But now Lisa guides her clients through every step of the real estate process. Enjoy the episode. So today I am joined in the studio by Lisa Jones. Lisa, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. Woo!
You're very welcome. So what I normally do to start things off is I ask my guests to get us started with either an event in their life or a time when they had a really major shift in context or paradigm, or just something fun they'd like to talk about. Where do you want to start?
I had a big shift in career, and it was just before pandemic. We talk about that. So just before pandemic, I was retiring from healthcare. I was in healthcare for 30 years, and I'm a huge nerd. I love microbiology. I love the fine details of things. I love caring for people. And I just said to myself, I didn't know there was a pandemic. No one did. But I said to myself, you know what? Check, please. I'm done here. I'm like really done. I'm so burnt out. 30 years, you can imagine. I started when I was 18. So I wanted to retire. And I said to my husband, what do you think I should do? I mean, he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to sleep in the bed with the puppies all day. I mean, really, or lay outside by the pool or by the beach or something. And that's just not going to bring us in any cash. So we had to evolve. And he said, what did you want to do? And besides being a veterinarian, I've always been in real estate as an investor, as a consumer, as a buy sell, as a person who owned property. So I said, I always wanted to be a realtor since I'm 20. And he says, well, go do that. Why don't you take that on? And then I was terrified.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So your husband says, what did you want to be when you grow up? And you said, well, real estate. And he was like, okay. And you went, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because now, and he's a supportive guy. We've been married a long time and we have a son. So he's a supportive guy. And I just said, all right, because I was always used to having like a safety net. Even in healthcare, I had a couple side hustles. I had some other gigs so that if I got tired of you, if you got tired of me, I wasn't without a job. My friends used to joke about me. They used to say I was like a Jamaican because I had like 5 jobs, all these things I would do. And I always tried to get out of healthcare, never did. So when I retired, it was really where the rubber met the road, kind of, so to speak. You were like, okay, now what? So I went after my lifelong dream of being a realtor on the front end, not just a consumer and investor on the back end, which was really neat because what I didn't know is when I was going through the classes to get my license, I learned all the things that my realtors never taught me. They never told me about when I sell one investment property, I can buy another investment property, defer the taxes. They never told me about how to be creative with financing. They never told me how to house hack, basically buying a house, living in a house, then renting that house and buying your next house. So there's all these little tricks that you learn when you get your license. And I thought to myself, my God, man, I spent so much money. I lost so much money just not being guided, not having no. I still love my realtors. I still talk to them. 2 of them still practice, so I don't have any animosity towards them. But I said, my God, you know what? I'm never going to let this happen to someone else. And then I just took my little flag and I started marching out into the community and making sure everybody knew, hey guys, there's some secrets you need to know about.
So tell me, how did you go from oh shit to okay?
Yeah. Well, it was a terrific roller coaster. First, I wanted to be like let me back up.
Okay.
My realtors were professional. They were very well dressed and they were very proper. Only one was kind of like, a little sketch. But I thought before I got my license, I don't, because I started as like a transaction coordinator on the back end, just to dip my toe in on the front end to see if I could hack it. And what I noticed was I was not going to be able to be like those realtors that I had before that were proper and prim and proper and elegant and all of the things, because I'm like much more of a free. I mean, look, I'm wearing like, this is what you get, right? I like to have fun. I like to make people be welcomed and at home. I don't like to be tight and stuffy. It's just not my gig. Now, am I in that realm sometimes? Yes, and I have to act the part. So initially I thought, wow, man, I can't do this. I can't be like these realtors, these realtors that are all dressed up and they're driving Maseratis and Mercedes and this and that, and I can't hang. That's not my deal. I got really intimidated. So the first thing I did was stop that. I stopped looking at all that. I mean, it's great to aspire to, it's great to achieve and want. I can't, I don't, not can't, I can. I don't want to hang in that space because I find at some point you're going to find out who I am. I am laid back. I could be a little stressed out sometimes. I'm very real and transparent. And you're going to find out at some point, I like to have a bare shoulder. I like to wear a tank top. I like to wear a jumpsuit. I like to, you know, just kind of salt of the earth. I like to bring it down a little bit. People are people. And my goal was to just be a real person. So once I realized that, oh gosh, you know what? I could be a realtor and be a real person at the same time and not put on a front and not try to be all showy, showy. That was my angle. And that was like, okay, you know what? I can do it. And then I just had to find my little path. And it wasn't always easy. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable with yourself and then just say, all right, well, where's the line between 12-year-old goofy humor Lisa Jones and where's the professional Lisa Jones? And I thought, well, gosh, when you were with patients in healthcare, you did that. I mean, you had two licenses in two different states and you were able to handle patients and whatever they showed up and still did your job. So yeah, just be a real person. And that made a difference for me. That was the first kickoff that I thought to myself, you know what, I can do this and I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really powerful because, like, you and I have known each other for several years.
Yeah.
And, when we've had lunch together, a lot of the conversations were around, how to go from the healthcare field into what was next for you. And when I saw you shift over to real estate through Facebook, and then like we had lunch one time and you were telling me about it, there was no doubt in my mind that it was a fit for you.
Thank you.
And, I'm glad I didn't wear the jacket today. I went a little bit more casual with kind of a Florida sort of a feel. In Florida, in South Florida, there's space for all kinds of people. And, I can see how, some people might want to look like the Grant Cardone, Patrick Bet David, like all of that. Those guys have a place. That's fantastic. But not everybody who wants to buy or sell real estate needs that kind of a speed or feels comfortable with those kind of people.
Yeah.
Like, then it makes it feel like real estate is this exclusive thing, literally excluding people. And I'm hearing that, like, you've really got this inclusive take on it.
Yeah.
So how's it been going?
Really good. And when I say really good, it's good, it's profitable, it's fruitful, it's great. And there's pits. I mean, there's times you don't have a sale and you're just working with clients getting to the sale. There's times that your listings might sit a little bit. There's times you have to deal with, buyers and sellers. So what I find is when I'm authentic with people, and I know I'm going to say words that might sound a little like woo woo or da da da. You have to hear in your own ears for the listeners. You have to hear what it is for you. So authentic for me is just being myself with people and bringing my expertise and then making it easy. And then if I need to be fun, bringing that. So the authenticity really has me connect with so many buyers and sellers. So many, like you say, so many people who think it's an exclusive club, the real estate club's it's not. And I'm not a normal realtor. I've told people to, some would say to my detriment, I've told people, listen, I don't think you should sell your house right now. I don't think you should stop renting. I don't think you're ready to buy. I don't think, I give them my opinion when they ask for it. And sometimes if they don't ask for it, but I try to always give them the full story because I don't want someone to have buyer's remorse, seller's remorse. If I listen really keenly to what their plans are and then what they're looking at to buy or sell isn't a match for their plans, I'll say, have you considered this? And a lot of times people are like, I have not considered that. I have a young couple that's going to list their house with me and they're redoing the inside and they want to rent their next home before they buy. And I said, yeah, you totally can. Have you considered buying like a duplex they were looking at, right? Have you considered buying a duplex, living in one side, renting the other side, seeing if that works? If that's sustainable and it works, then move out, get your next thing and rent both sides. Sometimes it may sound to me and you like, oh my gosh, of course that makes sense. But some people really they don't even have it in their purview. It doesn't even entertain their realm of thought. And that's what I love to do is just bring ideas to people, listen to their plans, bring ideas that maybe they haven't thought of. Maybe there's a creative way. Can I save them money? Do I have to, you know, it's going to sound so not realtor, right? Do I have to charge them for this? Can I just show them the way they could do it on their own in this one aspect and they could save money? And some people say, why would you do that? And I said, because the money's going to come. They're going to refer someone. They're going to call me later when they need, like, if you're just really honest with people, it's hard. It's hard. It's not always a moneymaker, but it pays back tenfold.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about being authentic, you know, just having the conversation and being like, look, I think you should rent for a little while. I don't think you're ready to buy because guess what? In 2025, the rules are going to change and you might get an assessment, taxes. My taxes just went up $2,000. So those are the things as a homeowner, if you're not in it and if your realtor doesn't tell you, you may not know.
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to kind of like, I don't want to say protect people, but I want them to just be informed. It shouldn't be a secret.
Right.
And I don't think any of this I think it should be available for everybody.
Well, one of the ways that I look at real estate, not that I've had a whole ton of dealings in it, but in my mind, my realtor is the expert that I'm relying on to make sure that I know what the hell is going on.
Right.
And if my realtor doesn't have my back, isn't answering questions for me or telling me what questions to ask,
Yeah.
You and I had a conversation a couple of days ago, and I was like, well, I have a little bit of cash and I'm interested in figuring out what to do with it. And you were like, oh, yeah, no, you very pause, hold on. And it was invaluable to me because I'm looking at this one little bit. And you helped me put the brakes on. I might still go ahead with a particular course of action, but at least now I can make an educated and an informed decision. You've empowered me to know what I'm really getting into,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. And I would have gone to you because I've known you forever
Sure.
anyway.
Thank you.
That would have me be that much more certain about that choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to feel good about your choice. See, I'm not the realtor for everybody.
Right.
Some people don't want to hear the good, bad, and ugly of it. Some people want to hear all flowers and rainbows and unicorns, and that's fun. But the reality is, after you buy your home, or even in the middle of a sale, if you find out you're not going to be able to afford this home in 2 years because the taxes are going to go up anyway the next year you buy a house, or there's an assessment coming if you buy a condo, or there's a sinkhole nearby because I have a sinkhole map. Like those are the things I want to peel back the curtain so you can know, because I never want you to come back and be like, oh, Lisa never told me.
Right.
I don't want that. That I took from healthcare. One of the things that helped me transition from, because people are like, well, healthcare into real estate, like, what do you know? Okay, first of all, I've always owned a home for the last 30 years. Okay, so that right there, friends, I can tell you, as a person who has to pay out of pocket for stuff, I can tell you what a home takes. Moreover, bringing the listening for me, think about when you go to a doctor. I don't know how it is for you. I hate doctors. I'm not a good patient, first of all. I like the nitty gritty nerd part of it, the microbiology of it, the how things work of it, but I'm a terrible patient. So when you're dealing with someone who might be a little fearful, you really have to put your extra listening ears on. And it's hard because a lot of times we're listening to what we're going to say to what they're saying rather than just listen to what they're saying. and then just answering that and have no agenda over here. It's hard, but it's a practice. So that I took from healthcare into real estate, which is how I like listen to people. So wherever you are in the journey, what I tell realtors coming out, because a lot of people come to me like, "Oh, I'm transitioning. What do I do?" Or nothing's my sales are dead. I'm not, I've got no sellers, buyers. What do I do? And I go, listen, you have to leverage your knowledge. What are you knowledgeable in? Leverage that. If you're a renter, if you've rented for years, leverage that knowledge. If you have been an owner, leverage that knowledge. If you're in engineering, how can that help? Like leverage your unique and specific gifts, because not every realtor has those gifts. And that leverage makes you different, unique, and valuable to your clients. So that's really where I look for, like when I'm uneasy about like how am I going to fit in or how's this going to work? I just go, well, what do I know? What do I know that nobody else knows? Okay, let's start there, and then see how I can relate it, because ultimately you're dealing with people.
Right.
I mean, you can't escape it.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And, it goes back to like this idea that you mentioned earlier of choice,
Mm,
because there's the way that realtors generally look. We all have this idea of a realtor. There's somebody who understands laws and deals with banks and blah, blah, blah. And, you think that they've got the tie and the suit and whatever. And when that doesn't fit your personality, there is plenty of space for everybody. But here's the one thing that I don't hear you mentioning. You're talking about being yourself. You're talking about bringing your expertise. You're talking about really opening people's minds to consider what is going to work specifically for them. You've been in real estate since 2019,
I've been
2020,
licensed since 2019. Yeah,
since 2019.
yeah,
So 5
on the
years.
front end. Yeah, I call it the front end.
On the front end. And how many of those years have you been like number 1, top 5?
Or,
Y Yeah.
but it wasn't. So yes, good point. I fortunately, thank God, thank universe, thank everybody you need to thank. Anybody who's your person, thank your person. Um, I really was, I don't want to say lucky. I leveraged my knowledge and I made videos, and I wasn't a secret agent. It was hard. You know me a while, and I've said a couple of times I'm an extroverted introvert.
Mhm.
I'm forced to be an extrovert because I have to deal with people and see people. But really, if you gave me a choice, I'd be home reading a book. I'd be under the covers, I'd be watching TV, reading a book. I would be so like a far from person. I would be far from people as I could be. So I have to force myself to get out there, and it's a challenge, but you have to get yourself, I had to get myself up in front of the camera like this, on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of it, because you need to let people know what you're doing. And it's not just about real estate, it's about anything.
Yeah.
If you're an expert ghostwriter, if you're an expert in Excel, if you're Six Sigma, if you're whatever your specialty is that you want to get clients, you have to let them know. So what's the payoff here? What's it worth? Is it worth me like sucking it up, for lack of a better term, and getting my face out there and just being totally authentic? And by the way, if you go back and you look at my videos, I do live videos. I screw up all the time. But that's me in real life. You're going to get, this is what you're going to get. You're not going to get, so let me tell you this, in 1987 and then again in 2009, you're not going to get that. I can be proper and I can be professional, wear the suit and tie and do the whole thing. But at a certain point, you're going to see me in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Okay. So
The
it's,
facade will crack.
they will. And I am so much about letting you into my facade, because it's exhausting to present how I'm not 100%. When you see me today in Publix, I'll be wearing this, and I'll be wearing my Converse sneakers. That's what I'll be wearing. And that, I think, has lended itself to a lot of my success, because I do have an extraordinary amount of knowledge. I mean, it's 30 years of real estate knowledge, front end and back end, behind the curtain, the soft underbelly, all the secrets. I know them. And I come to you as your friend in the business that knows the dirt. And that is what had me, I think, be successful, because I was like attainable, not attainable, like approachable. That's it. Thank you. Yes. And I want to be approachable. I don't want to have a resting bitch face the entire time. I want you to be able to come to me and be like, Liz, shh, hey, hey, what's the secret? And I'll be like, oh girl, I'm gonna tell you the secret. And then if you want to go for it, we go for it together with my knowledge and expertise. But I want to come across as a real person because I didn't have anybody like that. And I want people to know. And do you know where a lot, all my, for the last 2 years, all my sales have come from? Referrals, referrals, friends of friends, friends of family, family, across the country.
Of course.
And
Your
people,
customers are satisfied.
they are, and I mean, there's one that's not, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, you're not going to please everybody, but that's something that when you change careers, you have to have the confidence in yourself that you know what you're doing. I mean, there's a realtor called the Tattooed Realtor. He's amazing. He's full tattooed. He's incredible. There's a motorcycle realtor. So like you get your little niche, you get your little like who you are, and you get comfortable with yourself. You get the knowledge that you have and the confidence, but you get to the people. Give them yourself. Give them yourself. They're going to find out who you are anyway.
Right.
So that. I mean, I've been really fortunate, blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Knocking on wood. That I've been able to overcome my anxiety of like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm not gonna be able to do this. To no, like this is who I am, and that's one of the two hardest parts of having your own business, being an entrepreneur, is having the confidence in yourself, knowing that you know, and then just giving yourself to people. Just put yourself out there how you want yourself to be seen. And I want you to see me as I am because like I said, you're going to find out I like sweatpants and a t-shirt and an exposed shoulder. My friends make fun. All my stuff is exposed shoulder. Everything. I'm like the exposed shoulder realtor or something. I don't know. Yeah. I like my shoulders. Sorry.
There's a joke in there somewhere. It's just not coming to
it'll
mind.
show up. It'll show up for sure. Yeah.
Well, but that's part of the beauty. And that's also exactly like the point of why I created the podcast, is because people need to see that you don't need to be totally put together and like totally have all of your shit. I love the meme on Facebook, somebody talking about, when my ducks are in a row, and it's like my ducks are all chaotic and there's even a cat involved. And,
Yeah.
it's like, that's life.
That's life.
Like, never in the history of ever have the stars aligned and everything lined up for it to
Never.
be perfect.
No.
Because like the reality is there's no journey in that. There's no challenge in that. There's no growth in that.
There's not. And you want to know the cosmic joke of the ducks in a row thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to hear this. When someone says my ducks are not in a row, do you know that ducks are actually only in a row when they're moving forward? So if you think about that, and this is like the woo-woo, mind-blowing stuff that I like to look at sometimes to ground me.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody's ducks are all over the place. If you look at the ducks when you're driving down the road and they're in the water, they're all over the place. The only time they're ever following the mommy is when they're going. So unless you're going to be going, unless you're getting yourself on the road to somewhere, your ducks won't be in a row, baby.
That's
just
absolutely
won't.
perfect.
They just won't. And you have to be able to be okay with that because that's how it is. And you're right. It's never 100%. It's never perfect. But when you look at the videos that have the most views, they're generally flawed. They're generally flawed. They're not perfect. And early in my career with the first or second brokerage I was with, there was a lot of push for like, what are you doing? What do you have? What are you doing? When are you closing? What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? What are you doing? What are you doing? You making calls today? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God. And it's always like, what are you doing? What am I doing? I'm against you. You're against me. That's not my gig. Okay. I'm not against you. You might be against me, but there's enough work for everybody. My philosophy is enough work for everybody. And I had this early on when I owned the temporary dental staffing service. There's enough work for everybody that if you just worry about what your quality of life is and how you want to work, everything else will show up. Like I've called realtors, I've given clients, people are like, you're not normal. I go, yeah, I know, because I'm a human and I'm just trying to make it work for everybody. I'm not against you. I'm rooting for you. You shouldn't be against me. There's plenty of work out here. And by the way, everywhere in healthcare, in car sales, in upper management, like there's work. So if you just approach it like my new brokerage that I'm with now for like a year and a half, they're great. They're like, what are you doing? Do you need us? I go, no, I think I'm good. And they go, okay, great. Well, if you need us, you let us know. and then I just do my thing. And again, I'm doing great. Thank God. Knock on wood. Thank you. Okay. It's not about what's that person doing. I want what they want. I want to be what they're doing. No, for me, it's these are things I'd like to obtain. Here's my work life balance. I like to do laundry. I'm so sorry. I literally had a business coach on my one of my other brokerages tell me outsource. Have someone do your laundry, have someone clean your house. Yes, have someone clean your house. I agree. Have someone clean your house, have someone do your laundry, have someone pick up your kid. And I went, I love picking up my kid. I love that I have the ability and the freedom to go pick him up at 3 o'clock when he's out of school. I love that I can do laundry. It's actually, I like doing laundry. I'm not going to outsource those things. I know they take time in my day and it's time away from, maybe making phone calls or clients or marketing, but that's my peaceful time. Why am I going to sacrifice that because you're going to pit two agents against each other or agents have to compete? No, that's not what it is for me, and thank the universe, God, Lord, everybody, that we're able to have that and still have a very comfortable lifestyle. It's not super ostentatious, but this is success for me. It's what my success looks like. I get to be there for my child who's 12 turning 13 and I get to raise him. I get to be with my friends to have coffee and mess around on a podcast in the afternoon, a morning. Like there's joy in that for me. And for me, that's part of the success. It's not all about like top producer, top producer, top producer, top producer, money, 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 money. They joke white Mercedes is the thing that realtors get when they've made it. I wrap mine green because it's like, come on, you know, I'm worried about like when the apocalypse comes and then you can't see my car and, get a little gun turret on top or something. I don't know. But, you gotta, no one's gonna be here forever. You gotta lighten up a little bit and you gotta have a little work life balance.
Well, I think that's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, don't let anybody tell you what you have to do. What's it look like for you?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. A couple of things that I've heard as you go through. First of all, like you accept zero credit for your success.
No, I take zero credit for my success. That's true.
Which I think you probably could stand to maybe assume some of the credit because you've always been a hustler. You've always been somebody who's been super involved and super supportive and really about helping people.
Yeah.
And that's really where a lot of the magic is.
Yeah.
But there's also this idea of, scarcity versus abundance.
Oh God.
And when
Yes.
you're in that dog eat dog competitive, like there's just one tiny little pie and you've got to fight for your piece of it, that's really I don't choose to live that way.
Yeah.
I am not interested in that because the world isn't like the universe is an abundant place.
Right.
Like Einstein said, the very most important decision in your life is to determine whether you believe the universe is friendly or not.
Right.
And like once you've made that choice, then life opens up or shuts down accordingly.
Right.
And then with an abundant mindset, like the one thing, even in all of your denying of your own success, is this idea of gratitude.
Yeah.
You're always like, it's not me, it's God, the universe, my husband, my family, you're like always turning it back to the support that you get, which is absolutely crucial because, you know, funny as it is, when we are in grade school, we're taught we're not allowed to ask for help. We have to do our own work. You're not supposed to connect or collaborate. And then you get out into the real world and you're expected to know how to collaborate. And it's not a skill set that's taught. And it needs to be taught because it's kind of like, the idea of stranger danger. You're taught from the time that you're tiny,
Yeah.
which it's important to make sure the kids are safe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they never practice understanding what's a safe environment, what am I looking for, then they can be swayed by people who are particularly
Nefarious.
charismatic.
Yeah. But they're also nefarious. There's people that are charismatic and they're nefarious and then they want to take advantage.
Right. And it's that combination of, psychopathic traits that, you've got all of these rubes that have been set up to perfectly fall in line to be fantastic employees and good little slaves and, nice little cogs in the giant machine and not really thinking for themselves. And then they wonder, like I would drive around for years looking at businesses and going, I'm a lot smarter than everybody around here, and yet I can't figure out how to get my shit together. What's wrong?
Right.
And it was really all of that feeling like I needed to do it on my own, not really allowing myself to be supported, not really seeking to have a community, a tribe, a network.
Yeah.
And I hear all of that inside of your experience because you're making sure that no person is left behind. Like
Right.
you're a space for your tribe. And then if somebody belongs to somebody else's tribe or is looking for something that fits with somebody else's wheelhouse, you're happy
Yeah.
to connect them.
Sure. Because I don't know everything. I mean, none of us know everything.
Right.
And there are experts in our wheelhouses. So with real estate, with healthcare, with certain things, I have all the knowledge. And even then, I don't have all the knowledge. Like you have to a lot of times I feel like people are like, "No, I know everything." Okay, but we really don't. And it's okay to say, I know everything, but wow, that's a new one on me. I think this person knows it. Let me get with them. It's great. And you're right. We're not taught to collaborate. We're taught to share. We're taught not to be mean to people in kindergarten, but we're not taught to collaborate. We're taught to be like lemmings, just like you said, like do your own thing and then just follow along and be nice and whatever. But when you get to look outside yourself, in fact, I thought about this today. I want to put pause on that and insert this here.
Okay.
Have you ever like had just the worst day or like stubbed your toe or got a flat tire, something crappy has happened to you. And then one of your friends or family members, somebody you adore and love and trust and want to take care of says, Erin, I need help with this. And then you go, yeah, absolutely. And then you help that person. You forget about your crappy day. You don't say, well, I just got a flat tire and this. I mean, some people do say this, but for the most part, I feel like we say, yeah, let me help you. And as soon as you help that person, you forget about all this. So with the scarcity abundance mindset, for some people, it's going to sound woo woo, but just hear it like this. Remember when you were a kid and you were like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a fireman. Like there was no holds on your dreams. You would just create it and then you would just go out. I want to be a dinosaur. And you would just go out in the backyard and just be a dinosaur or a meerkat or whatever. You're not looking for the limitations of what you have. And when you're in, for me, when I'm in the entrepreneur mindset, even if there's no sales coming, because I had like, there was 2 months or a month and a half, I didn't have a sale. And there was plenty of times that I was like, okay, look, how is this going to happen right now? Okay. Because we need to pay the mortgage and the car insurance, the life insurance. We got kids, school, we got kids, school starting, we got school. What are we going to do? And you just got to bring yourself to, okay, let's do one thing at a time. Is there food in the fridge? Yes. Perfect. Is there gas in the car? Excellent. Like you start looking for where there is abundance and then you go, okay, you're okay. Just chill the F out, hold on, just tackle one thing at a time. And then from there, you're able to kind of sort it out, get through the quagmire of like scarcity, like, oh my God, where are the bills coming from? Where am I going to pay these? And you get to be like, all right, well, this is taken care of actually. And so is this. So now I can focus on, let me call some buyers. Let me see if we do a price reduction. Let me advertise over here. Let me see how this ad is doing. Like, then there's all these other avenues you can go to. But it is a practice and it is hard sometimes until you get it, looking for where you are taking care of and set up and where you're not, what action can you take there? I do give it back because I couldn't do this alone. First of all, I just have knowledge. I'm just a vessel. And I just like to have a little bit of fun because I think that life itself is way too short and way too stressful for all of us. So if I could bring a little bit of light into it, happy to. And then when you need my expertise, I'll tell you, but then we're going to go back to being light. So when I'm looking at the success, it's not in a vacuum. There's no way I couldn't without the success of everybody else, the referrals, the confidence, the cheerleaders, my mom. I know it sounds hokey, my mom, my mother-in-law, like my husband, like when he shares a post, I'm like, oh my God, that's so nice. So I do give the credit back. I have the knowledge, but I'm just the vessel, you know? Everybody else in the tribe is supportive. And I'll tell you what, the people who are not supportive, they're not in the tribe. I still support them, but if they are not like, and I've had a lot of naysayers. I've had people be like, "Oh my God, listen, you're ridiculous." Okay, first of all, sweatpants and a t-shirt when you're doing a live video on Facebook is no bueno. And I go, well, but that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. You're gonna see me at Publix like that, So why not give the people how they're gonna recognize me, so that when they see me, they go, "Oh, you're the girl that walks in the t-shirt and the sweatshirt. Ah, yeah, I seen you." Like you don't have to be perfect, because we know in everybody's Facebook, when you peel back that curtain, you know, you and I, we're both sitting on the toilet the same way. Okay. So don't try to fake for me like you're all perfect and roses and dandelions and, beautiful unicorn. No, girl. Sometimes it's a shit show. And the beauty of it is like I'm sharing my shit show with you. So it's okay. And I'll bring my expertise.
That's absolutely this space because you were talking, you mentioned a couple of times like it sounds a little woo. If somebody is listening to this podcast, they've been introduced to the woo on several occasions. But like one of the things that I love doing is really bridging the gap between the reality and the woo, because there are people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who are scientifically proving they're measuring the difference before and after and proving that the placebo effect is real and gratitude is a real thing. And so like we don't understand everything. We can't understand everything. We don't have the capacity to understand everything. And so if I have access to somebody who is an expert in real estate, somebody who's an expert at building businesses, somebody who's an expert at building coaching practices, somebody who has access to the kind of people that I want to coach, somebody who has access to the kind of guests that I want to have come on, why would I not plug into those networks? Why would I not also support them in kind? And I had Melanie Paez on recently. She was my coach for a year. Fantastic, amazing coach. And she is the reason for the title of my book. She gave me that.
Yeah.
Um, we were talking about it the other day, and she just says, if I get to the end of my life and I discover that journaling every day and automatic writing and all of the believing in the power of the universe, if I discover that all of that was bullshit, but I was happy through my life, what do I care? So, we met inside of a landmark education space. We did the forum and a few other courses together. And really, one of the core tenets of the philosophy, that ideology, is that psychologically and subconsciously, we are meaning making machines, making up stories about everything.
Right.
And the point isn't, oh, the bad stuff, I'm making up a story, the good stuff must be true. The point is, you're always making up a story. Why not write something awesome?
Right. I mean, I told my son this. I said, just try this out. Because he's very much like me, but he's also kind of not like me, because he's a little bit like a curmudgeon. He's very like, no, 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 hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. No, 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 no. Okay. All right. First of all, I don't know where you came from. Okay. I get it, but not 100% of the time. So I said to him, try it. Try one day going through and just picking out, and practice, like just picking out, okay, what was good? What didn't suck? Try that. Because if you try that, you're going to find there's more things that don't suck and there's less things that suck, because you look, oh, fun fact. I used to race mountain bikes, and they used to say, you look where you want to go. And if you're looking at the ground, you're going to inevitably hit the ground. You're going to hit the tree stump, and you're going to hit the ground, and you're going to fall off. But if you're looking at your competition, if you're looking who's in front of you or what's in front of you, that's where you're going to go. So try looking at like that. Try looking out just for like one or two glimmers. That was nice. Oh, that cashier was nice to me. Oh gosh, the mail person smiled. And then you'll find more of it. Mr. Rogers used to say that too. Look for the helpers. There's all the things, but it's true. There was a study that they said if you take water and you yell at water and you say, "You suck, you're terrible, you're awful, you're never going to account to anything," and you freeze that water. And then you take water and you go, "Oh my God, you're good and gorgeous and wonderful and fantastic," and you freeze into a beautiful snowflakey ice cube and you freeze it. The freeze patterns of those two are different. And I forget the study. You got to look at some kind of Japanese water study or something like that. But it is like our words affect what we do. And when you're telling yourself, starting a business, transitioning from a business, going into a marriage, whatever you're going to be doing next, when you tell yourself, "Oh my God, girl, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it," you're not going to be able to.
Right.
But if you're going to say, "Look, I'm going to give it my best try. I'm going to really go for it. I'm going to lean on some other people. I'm going to see who I can." That right there is the magic in anything you're doing. And like you say, you reach out to the network, you reach out to this or that. And it's again, it's not about real estate, but it's a human being experience. You're dealing with humans on this planet. Some are great, some are terrible that you know of. But even those terrible people, there's people that love those terrible people. So they're just terrible to you. That's your context.
Right.
But how you perceive yourself as your entrepreneur is also your context. And that I really vote for. Like, go for it. You don't have to try and be Grant Cardone. And he's excellent and he's made billions and he's fantastic and I adore him. But I don't have to be him.
Right.
I can be the greatest me in my situation. And then later when, my son goes to college or whatever he wants to do next, and, I don't care, own a roofing company, whatever he wants to do, then I can be Grant Cardone if I want. But the greatest thing is you don't have to.
Right.
You just be you. I don't know. Does that sound silly?
Not at all.
Okay.
Well, I mean, somebody is going to think that it sounds silly, so I hope
They
you're
should
not
call
hung
me.
up on that.
They should call me.
They should.
I'll pep talk them. I'll brainwash them into thinking they can do anything.
That's why I stay in touch.
Yeah.
If I need a cheerleader, I know who to call. Now, one of the things that I was thinking is, Gary Vee is another one of those superstars.
Really, really.
And I love that he's been circling back. Like at the beginning, it was hustle, hustle, hustle. But then he started to recognize that his advice doesn't work for everybody. And it was kind of upsetting certain people. And he recalibrated somewhat. And one of the things that he's famous for saying is, look, you just figure out how much you need to make in a year. And then, like, if it's 70 grand, here's how you can make it. Like, go to garage sales and find Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff and, like, sell that on eBay and make that your thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny, one of my friends, Lydia Harris, when her younger son was a teenager, he wanted a pair of Air Jordans. And she actually ended up writing a book called How You Gonna Pay for Those Shoes? Because she taught him how to run a side hustle to be able to afford a pair because she couldn't do it for him. So she did the next best thing. He now buys and sells Air Jordans. That's how he makes his living. It's amazing because he supports his family. They live a pretty decent lifestyle. You don't need to be killing it all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
You just need to figure out, like, it's up to me to figure out how much money I want to be making, what kind of a lifestyle I'm interested in. I just found this thing. I think I told you I'm going to Ireland for 2 weeks. And one of the coolest aspects of it is the person that I'm going with is doing it because she's a member of a pet sitting website.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to watch a dog.
Shut up. I want to.
We're not paying for the place at all. So you fly to get yourself there. And now I'm like, well, shit, maybe I could just go cat sitting around the world. And
Yeah.
have people come here to, sit with mine.
Right.
Just Fort Lauderdale. I mean, who wouldn't want to
Wouldn't want to be here.
So there's always.
And if you're buying here, by the way, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But there's all the different ways.
Right. No, but it's beautiful because when you really, one of the things that my coach and I have been talking about is like, I have this thing where I always try to make it hard.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like if I make it hard, then when I win, I deserve it.
Worth it. Yes.
It's like, I know.
I suffered through this so hard.
Exactly. And one of the coolest things about, the last 2 months has been I can create whatever I want with my day.
Yeah.
And it can be easy and it can be flowing, and I can have the studio and people come over and we just have this conversation. It doesn't have to be hard.
It doesn't. People need to know, killing it. I want to circle back to this thing here too. Killing it looks different for everybody. I mean, my son had a dog walking business. He was killing it. He made $4,000 in a year
Oh, wow.
and he was 10. So killing it looks different for everybody. Killing it for you, killing it for me, killing it for like you get to say what the killing it looks like. Killing it might be sleeping till noon, making $200 in a day, and going back to bed at 3 o'clock. I don't know. I don't care. Whatever that is for you, that's great. And if I can support you in that journey, fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Life doesn't have to be hard.
It really doesn't. It could be easy. We just like to make it hard. But again, if you look where you're going. Look for the easy path. Look for the things. Look for, yeah.
Did you see there's been a TikTok going around lately about being demure?
No,
So,
but I won't be demure.
no, it doesn't apply to everybody.
Okay, good. I'm more
But
like tequila.
what
I'm not even a cup of tea. I'm more like tequila.
well, no, what was really awesome about the video that has like 17 million views is it's this person who was talking about, I can't remember her name. It's Julie, Joolie. And Julie talks about when you go into an interview and you're dressed a certain way, you just want to make sure that you're consistent with what you're putting up for people up front. And like how you choose to live is how you choose to live. If you think you're a victim, then you're going to continue to be a victim. She says that when she got that it was the whole idea that people were against her that was her problem, she let that go, and now, like, life is opening up for her.
Yeah.
And for her, it's around being demure, it's about being polite, it's about being helpful and supportive, and it's like, "Why are these foreign concepts?" But for some reason, they are. Uh, once we've all been tricked, trained to believe that we're at the effect of the world and that
Right.
we don't matter.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, like, you are your own source and you do matter.
And you are the world.
Yes.
Like you, on the very basic level, and this is not going to be a political statement or anything like this, right? But on a very basic level, every human being, Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy or system of hierarchy, right? Every human being wants to be safe. They want to feel loved. They want to have security, so at the very elemental level, we all want the same thing. I mean, it's not hard. And that's what I said from the beginning. Like, how you present yourself in the interview, you're going to have to keep up with that. How I present myself in videos as a realtor, as a person of expertise, right? You're going to find out that I like to be a certain way.
Yes.
I'm going to be that way up front with you, so I don't have to put up a front. Now, I can be proper and demure and thing, but I got like a 5 or 10 minute tolerance of that, and then you're going to just the jokes have to come because I can't be too serious 100% of the time. There's too much shortness of brevity of life. We're here for an instant. And if you like, I don't know what's going to happen when I leave the studio. Kind of her. Okay, that's my Yiddish friends. Like, but you just don't. And so to be so significant and so intense, like, and I'm not saying, by the way, I want you to know, I'm not saying I don't break down crying sometimes and have breakdowns and look ugly cry and, have this self-doubt and pity. Of course I do.
Right.
Of course I do. Do I stay in bed sometimes for maybe an extra hour? I don't tell someone about it? Yeah, of course I do. But I don't live there. I don't live there. I let it happen. And one of the things that I want to give you permission for is like you and anyone who's listening, like if you're having a breakdown, let it happen. Have your breakdown. Be pissed off, cry, be sad, be whatever, be remorseful, whatever you got there. But then you got to pack up and go to the next town. Like you can't live in pity palace.
Call somebody,
Call
listen to some
someone.
music, do something fun.
Just go walk on the beach. Just call someone. Go for coffee. Go. Sometimes what I do is a little like gift to myself is when I'm really having a pity party and I'm like, okay, I'm done here. Go get your favorite drink at your coffee shop. Go get your favorite lunch. I happen to like sushi. Go get your favorite sushi. Like get yourself out of the funk. Get back in the game. But the breakdowns I think are important because they happen to everybody. And that's the stuff we don't show on Facebook. That's the stuff that most people won't show, like your screaming child, your upset spouse, you're late on a bill because you forgot, like whatever. Those are the things that most people don't show. And everybody has that.
True.
And that's the thing I think is missing. It's the humanity piece.
Well, and I think we also perpetuate those breakdowns when we're in denial of
Yeah.
who our soul wants to express as.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, after about 5 minutes of being in the suit, all of a sudden it's going to start cracking.
Yeah.
And, like I've been in accounting for 30 some years.
God, I don't see you in accounting every time you say that.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I don't show up as an accountant because I refuse to.
Yeah.
Like when I was at this concrete manufacturing company for several years, and I remember the CPA would come in once a year to do the taxes. I'm an accountant, but I don't do taxes.
Yeah.
And he would sit in my office with the little Buddha and the little fountain and the little stuff, and he's looking around and he's going, "How do you do it?" And I look across the desk at him and I go, "I am not a partner in a large CPA firm in the heart of Coral Gables like you are.
Right.
You made your choice, and this is how you choose to show up. This
Yeah.
is how I choose to show up.
Yeah.
I have my, steel-toed boots in the corner. I wear blue jeans every day, and I've got my tinkly music running in the background behind the
Yeah.
waterfall, and this is okay for me. I'm happy where I am."
Yeah.
So, it's like I believe that when I'm in denial of my authentic self, then I'm going to multiply the number of breakdowns that I'm having and the number of times that I'm having to deal with it. And it feels like it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
But it's really not, because when I let go of that resistance and own who I am and go, okay, great. So I'm an accountant that doesn't want to act like an accountant, and I love to cuss, and I'm irreverent, and I've got a pretty sharp sense of humor. Maybe I should be in construction or manufacturing or someplace like that where there are a bunch of guys around and they're not going to get offended if I tell them to go fuck off.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
At the same time, if I decide that I'm ready to move on and go into some other dimension of my life, my podcast is not for the faint of heart. I talk about shit that really matters to people, and I want to make a difference. And if it doesn't make a difference for you, fantastic, change the channel.
Yeah. Send
But
it to someone who would.
I'm gonna live my life
Yeah.
the way I choose to and help the people who need that support in a way that makes sense for them.
Yeah. I think it's great. And I think a lot of people need that support because like you say, there is a lot of inauthentic living. Sometimes people say you have to go to college, you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, a thing, da, da, da. Your family wants you to do, and there's actors that have been doctors that wanted to be actors. There's comedians that were, lawyers that wanted to be comedians. Like when you find, and this is what I said beginning too, like be yourself. Find your expertise, be yourself, and then leverage your experience. And then that's when like all the lights hit green. Like most of the light, not every light is green. Some
Yeah.
lights are red, some lights are yellow. Sometimes you speed past them. I never speed past the yellow light because usually the yellow light's like, okay, wait, pause, hold on a second. Let me look around. But get your authentic self, your expertise, leverage your experience, and get in there on what you want to create out there in the world, whatever that looks like. If you want to be an artist and sell your art, I don't know, maybe you want to make butt paintings and just do everyone's a primary color. I don't know, but whatever that is, like you're going to find so much more joy in that and the money will come. And I don't mean to say like, oh, money's not important. Money's important, especially now with where everybody is getting squeezed except the one percenters, right? Sorry. But you find how it works for you, get the path, get your ducks in a row. Just kidding. Don't get your ducks in a row. Let them be messy, then move forward. They'll all follow you. But yeah, I mean, it is. It's about being like I'm 54. I act like I'm 13. Sometimes I forget. And I'm around like in Publix, I'm like joking. My son's like, oh my God, that's so cringe, mom. I'm like, sorry, dude. I'm just having fun. Like, I just want to have fun. It's so people are so doom and gloom. There's so much bad news out there. I don't even want to look at any of that. I'm just trying to be a source of fun. Like when you see me, you know that it's going to be okay for the time with me,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I love that you made this podcast because this is so important to get people to get other aspects of you can get out of where you are. You can actually go where you want. And it's okay to have breakdowns along the way.
Yeah.
Just can't live there.
One other important thing I wanted to circle back
Oh,
to,
yeah.
and then we can start to wrap up, is like when I say that, like people will suggest, like they suggest that you behave a certain way to be a realtor or to be an
Yeah.
accountant or to be a whatever, 99% of the time that is not with malicious intent.
No.
It's somebody who is really trying to give you the best advice that they know with whatever their level of understanding is.
Right.
And so it's not about going back and making that person pay for the suffering that you endured because you refused to be your authentic self.
Right.
It's My journey has been about giving myself such thorough permission to own that I like crystals and candles and tea and tarot cards, and I am not a normal accountant.
Yeah.
And I can help you rock your business if you need help creating that structure because I understand all of it.
Yeah.
It's not it's not going to get me anything to try and hunt the people down that gave me the advice that helped me build the box that I lived in.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm the one who chose to build the box.
Yeah. And you stay in the box for as long as you stay in the box until you realize that the box opens and you can get out of the box.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
Thanks.
Welcome.
So is there anything that you want to, like, we've been a lot of places.
We've been all this. We needed a roadmap for this one, baby. I mean, people are gonna have to re-listen to this and like write and take notes and write it down.
Anything that you wanted to touch on or highlight before we wrap up?
I did have like a piece of sage advice, but I think we covered it all. And I'm just trying to think if there's any little tiny piece of, yeah, I mean, listen, it doesn't have to be hard. It's not always easy. And it can be, but you have to trust yourself. You have to trust the process, and you have to surround yourself with people who truly believe in you. There's a difference between people like that blow smoke up your butt, and people that are like poo pooing your idea. There's a difference between those two. You want to get someone who truly believes in you, you know, and says, "Listen, if you want to go for it, go for it. I'm here." You got to get your tribe. And for any other person who's going to start as an entrepreneur and they're worried about clients, those clients are going to find you. If you put yourself out there as your authentic self and you give your expertise, those people will find you. I can't tell you the amount. My last phone call, actually, my most recent phone call I got from a guy, just real quick. I was driving past a house. They were putting a garage as an addition. They were making a carport into a garage. And I said, man, I stopped. I rolled in my window. I go, man, that looks good. You do this. It's middle of the summer. It's hot. You do this is what you do. He goes, yeah. I go, wow, that looks great. I go, here's my card. I live around the corner. We actually want to expand our garage. So call me when you're done on this job. And I gave him my card, and it was a realtor card, but that's all I had. Right. So I was like, here. He called me a week ago and he said, I want to come see your garage. And I gave him the survey. He goes, you can't expand. You're already past. But he goes, you know what? I want to buy a house. And I went, no way. He goes, yeah, you were so nice when you stopped by and you said whatever you said about the garage. He goes, I'm gonna give you my information. I want to buy a house. And I was like, oh my gosh, no way. That was not my intention when I met the guy, but you know what I mean? Just it shows up. Don't be. You know what? I want to leave you with this. Don't be a dick. I'm leaving you with that. Don't be a dick.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Well, Lisa, it has been amazing spending an hour with you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's been my pleasure, girl. You know I adore you. First of all, your hair I'm so jealous about your hair because I used to pay big money for my hair to look like that, and now it's just this. I love the curls. It's been my honor to be here. I mean, I love this. I love that you're doing this. I love the people. I always wanted to do this. Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now if I do this? How about this? This? Okay, that's it.
Thank you. What a wonderful way to end. Thanks. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Secret of My Success, where we explore what it means to live a fulfilling life. I am your host, Erin Currin. Again, if you haven't, please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.